ladies, welcome to our No Bad Days Simple Wellness for Women show. I'm Jolene Fisher, your host, and every episode of the No Bad Days show will give you a view into the life of another woman. She'll share her stories, her triumphs, her struggles, and the lessons she's learned along her path. And my goal as your host is to bring topics to you that are relevant and encouraging, because I want you to be inspired to be the hero of your own story. And that's why I introduce you to brave women doing hard things, and they are truly living out the motto and the meaning of No Bad Days. And so today I want to bring to you Allison Sattin. She's a longtime friend of mine and actually has been a person who's helped me in my business forward and advance me in the social media realm. And so Allison is got a bio here I would like to read just so we make sure I'm thorough with everything. But she is a small business owner of One Stop Media and currently runs BuildU Girl Gang. We're going to talk about those two things here in this talk. But she also at one time struggled with building her businesses socially, and that brought her to realizing that there was a lot of business owners suffering from that same thing. And so that's what she does. With her trial and error and now experience and extensive research, she has helped tons and tons and tons of businesses and continues today to do that as her main business in One Stop Media. So her goal is to use her expertise to help others find the hidden revenue opportunities in social media so that they too can achieve the success they deserve without the stress that social media causes them. As a result of the successful businesses that she has built, she is able to pursue other passions. Allison is active in her community. She works with several nonprofits, and it is her mission to spend her free time uplifting other women through her passion project, the BuildU Girl Gang. Her resume includes owning and operating 3 companies, teaching social media courses at several local colleges, consulting for large corporations, and she has opened 13 businesses from the ground up. Wow. With a passion for business and marketing, Allison topped off her education, earning a master's degree in organizational leadership from Gonzaga University. Another wow. And to summarize, this woman is a force to be reckoned with, and that is true. I love Allison. She is a total wrecking ball when it comes to businesses and helping people get up and moving in that social media realm. And with her support of other women in the community, getting the BuildU Girl Gang together, we're going to talk about that. But welcome, Allison. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. This is great. I love your show. I think it's cool that you created something like this.
Well, we're so happy that you're here to talk to us a little bit about some of maybe you'll give us some tips and tricks with social media, but we really want to learn more about you first, of course, because that is like the whole background of who you are and people getting to know, like, and trust you as a person. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and where you came from, your background, where you grew up?
Yeah, sure. So I actually was born in Logan, Utah. My family traveled around a little bit when I was younger due to my dad's job, but we landed here in Spokane when I was about 4. So this is pretty much, I consider myself born and raised here. Went to high school here, went to college here, love it. It's a great place to raise a family. I think one of the reasons I've stayed in Spokane is because it's an entrepreneurial hotbed. If you move to a bigger city, like Seattle or San Diego or somewhere, you would never be able to work a whole city. You would just be working probably whatever neighborhood that you lived in. So I've been here. I went to Gonzaga for my undergrad and my master's. I have worked every job imaginable, from nonprofits. Something people don't know, I was a private investigator for a while. I can still serve papers if I need to. Yeah, so I've done a lot of things across the gamut, and I fell into the bar and restaurant industry, and that worked really well for me for a long time, but eventually it was too hard to have a family and do things like that. So, but it was a great learning experience for me, because all those businesses that I was starting up had something in common, and that was that they had no marketing budget. So I had to really just, educate myself and figure out how to market businesses. And so that's kind of where I'm at now, is I'm always trying to learn and grow and do more things in my businesses. And Still in Spokane, have a fiance, two stepdaughters who are awesome. And we just built a new house last year. So that was pretty exciting. So, all kinds of fun stuff happening here. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So tell us a little bit about the years of your life, whether it was growing up or it was yesterday, that really shaped you into the person that you are today.
Yeah, that's definitely a loaded question. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a good home with good parents. I know that as a child, I loved to read, and I think that that's huge in developing a person. And so, definitely my younger years helped develop me a lot. I had a younger brother, and we were extremely competitive, and he was always bigger than me, even though he was younger. And so I think, how we grew up probably is what gives me my competitive drive in business. But I think I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to be when I grow up. So, you know, these years, the now is still developing me and shaping me. And, every year I think that who I am looks a little bit different. So, yeah.
What's driving you right now? What are you totally in love with doing right now?
One Stop Media is in year 7. Actually, it would be 8 years in the fall. And we're really dialed in. Like I mean, those first 3 years of business, those are toughies. But I have a great team right now. We're really dialed in. And I'm really having a good time actually working on my business in a non-stressful manner, because that is not always the case. So I have been spending a lot of time. I'm actually right now, my mom is going to help me create the Allison manual, for what would happen if I wasn't around, and how would that look? And so it's just been really nice to be able to work on things that I've wanted to work on. And then of course the BuildU Girl Gang is always something that I'm super passionate about. With the COVID, a lot of our events aren't happening, but I'm really hoping that we'll be able to dive back into a lot of those things soon. And so the good news is I've had lots of time to think about some fun events and different things that we can do. And yeah, so things are really good right now.
Yeah, so you've been running another business on the side. We didn't even mention it, but it's called Go Local. And so a lot of those networking opportunities for people have been completely shut down, because you used to operate in a monthly fashion, right? Every month you would have a gathering, and now that's kind of gone away. So how are you dealing with the COVID-19 and the kind of slowdown of that in business in general?
So a big part of Go Local is, one, to create a network of business owners that are supporting one another and shopping with one another, and then helping to create awareness in our community about the importance of shopping local. It looks a lot different, because a big piece of that business was we would do really fun monthly networking events. We had to cancel our event at Hoop Fest. We had some really great speakers coming. We were going to have a free throw contest. It was sold out. So we do really fun, unique events. We're not just standing around and holding our glass of wine and handing out business cards. All of our Go Local events are aimed to teach business owners something. And then have a little fun component. Like we've done some business speed networking, which is super fun, almost like speed dating. In fact, I had to change the wording of it, because at our first speed networking event, we called it a business dating. And a young gentleman actually came hoping to meet girls. So we had to rethink the name a little. But
did he end up staying?
Yeah, he did. And he had his suit on, and he had a little notepad that I think was supposed to be for phone numbers. But he stayed, and and it was pretty funny actually. He was like 21 years old. He was a younger kid. So yeah, so it was fun. But Go Local has been able to stay active just in supporting local business owners during this time as far as marketing efforts and, trying to educate them on the different resources available. So that's kind of where we've been really focusing on while we can't have these networking events, is just supporting those businesses in any way that we can, since that's the vision of the company. Yeah.
Good. So tell us a little bit more about the BuildU Girl Gang and where you kind of got this idea to build up women in the community, or anywhere for that matter.
Yeah. So, gosh, it's crazy to say it, but it's been 3 or 4 years now. I was not balancing the whole running businesses and being a human piece. And so I thought, well, I'm going to start this self-care group, and we'll call it the Self-Care Girl Gang. And I'm going to put 20 of my friends in there. I think, Jolene, you were actually one of them. And I said, and let's do like a 30-day self-care challenge where every day we post what we did for ourselves that day, whether it was something as small as just taking 5 minutes to sit down, or paint your toenails, or whatever that looked like. So we did it, and it was great, and everybody had fun. And as we started to get into the 30 days, I was like, whoa, where did all these people come from? So the 20 women, I added people. And so at the end of the 30 days, I thought, okay, I'm all done now. I'm back on the self-care routine. And I was like, but I didn't want something else to manage, but I didn't want to take it away, because it was like this community of several hundred women. So I kind of just left it, and it just kept rolling. And I would post sometimes, but I wasn't leading the charge by any means. And so it just went, and it kept growing. And so the entrepreneur in me was like, oh, this is good. Like, something's happening here. Like, what should we do? So I almost launched several different business ideas a few different times. But it just never felt right, because it didn't feel authentic. And then, so in 2018, I lost a friend to domestic violence. And I don't, in hindsight, she didn't, I think she felt isolated and alone, or like nobody was experiencing things like she was. And so, because none of her friends and family had any idea that she was even in a situation where she was struggling. So that was kind of my aha moment. I knew what the group needed to be, so I changed it to the BuildU Girl Gang, and although self-care is still a big piece of that, it's just one of the tools in our toolbox. And so the BuildU Girl Gang was launched, and I spent December of 2018 having like 60 coffee dates. I went out and I found 50 of the busiest women that I know, and I asked them to contribute to our free blog. So you can go to the BuildU Girl Gang website, and you can read the stories of all these fabulous women. I didn't want the blog to be, just blog of Allison. I wanted it to be something that no matter the woman, or no matter what she's struggling with, that she could go there and relate to somebody and connect to somebody, and it might change her day or her life, or the 5 minutes that she spent reading one of the stories. So if you haven't been, it's the buildugirlgang.com. It's really great. There's a lot of Jolene's on there. Go read Jolene's stories. It's been a pretty incredible thing. I think we've got over 200. I think we're in almost to 300 different stories on there right now. So it's growing, which is great. Yeah. So, and I'm always looking for more women who want to share their story on that platform. Yeah. So that was kind of my inspiration, but it's evolved. The Girl Gang just in year one already looks different than when it started. I have 2 young stepdaughters, or bonus daughters is the word I prefer. And they're great, and they live in a really small town. It's like under 500 people population, and there's not a lot of jobs there or opportunities there, and so they were kind of my inspiration to launch another side of the Girl Gang, and that is something that focuses on our younger women. And so my goal with that is to have events. I'd love to do some entrepreneurial boot camps to help, girls 10 to 18. Speaking events, I was really excited. I got invited to be the keynote at a speaking engagement called Girl Power, but they had to cancel it. Yeah, there was going to be like 200 young girls. They bring them in from all the rural areas into a community center. It was, I didn't even know this existed until they asked me. But really, I'm hoping that eventually we'll get to do that, and that'll help us, get our message in front of a lot of younger girls. And yeah, so lots going on. Yeah.
What do you hope that these young girls will get out of being a member or being a part of the BuildU Girl Gang?
Yeah, my hope is that, well, there's several different hopes. More so though, it's our job to replace ourselves with our future leaders. And I just want these young girls to know that they can do it. And if they don't have the confidence, I hope that our events and our message and the Girl Gang can help them see that they're wonderful and they're great. They can do, sky's the limit. And then the other piece being that we could help them with resources or education or different things to help them get there. Because, when I was 10, I don't think I even knew what the word entrepreneur meant. So I think we live in a whole new time now. And so I think it's important for girls to know that whether they grow up and they have a wonderful career working for somebody else, or they have their own business, that the sky is the limit for them. So yes, that's my hope. And we do a lot of work with Daybreak. And so, we've done some really cool things to help uplift those girls, from gratitude journals where a lot of our influencers wrote little notes to them, like specialized notes, and just whatever we can do to support the younger community, I think is important.
And how do you get involved if you want to be a blog writer or just be a part of BuildU Girl Gang?
Just call me. I'm on Facebook. Yeah. Typically, there's lots of ways to be involved, whether you just want to be in the group, you want to volunteer at one of our events, you want to write your story. We also have a portion of the Girl Gang called the Business Hood. It's new and it's been really well received. We never originally talk about our businesses. It's more, about talking about us. But for many of us, our businesses are who we are. And so I thought that was important. So you can also get involved in the business hood side. Yeah. And if you go to the website, there's info on kind of everything that we do, or you can reach out to me and I can answer questions. And yeah.
Yeah, I love being a part of it. There's so much great energy in both of those Facebook groups, and then being able to share wisdom within business with each other. Mm-hmm. And also in the BuildU Girl Gang, just getting to know others in the area that are influencers. They don't even necessarily have to be business owners. They just might have a message or a story that they want to share. So it's been a really uplifting community. So thank you for creating that.
No, it's been quite the journey for me, because I read every story that comes across my desk, because I feel like if a woman's going to share it, and out of respect, I should read it. And I've learned things about women that I've known for years. And I thought, whoa, where did that come from? So it's been emotional experience for me, and but it's also been really positive experience for me. So I'm excited. This is year 2, so I'm excited to see, how it goes this year. We had a little bump with the, having to stay home stuff, but we'll see. It's still developing.
So when we were talking about the topic of today, and you had said about what you wanted to talk about, it was like the uncomfortable truth about life, love, and entrepreneurship. And so what are some of those uncomfortable truths that you wanted to talk about, or really?
Yeah, so I'm in marketing, and so, it's all how you sling it, right? And, people use these social platforms to share the good stuff, the highlight reels, and they don't always, take off the filter and show what's really going on behind the scenes. And I had an aha moment, and actually Jolene was with me. I don't even know how many years ago it was now. We were invited by Kelsey McHenry to speak at her Bloom conference in Portland, and it was an awesome experience. And I remember when Kelsey asked me, I was like, oh yeah, I got my speech all done. It's going to be about social media and business, and I do that all the time. And Kelsey was like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you have to talk about you. And I was like, well, that sounds terrible. I don't want to do that. So like the months leading up to this thing, I was really stressed about what this was going to look like, because I had never gone onto a stage in front of 5 people, none less 300, and been authentic like that. And so it was, I think I was still even writing my speech right up until before we walked out there, because I kept thinking, oh my God. And so when I got out there, I started out, in my nice Nordstrom's dress, and I had my hair done. And after I introduced myself, I told everybody, okay, this doesn't feel like me. And so Jolene threw sweatpants at me, she was my side helper on the side of the stage. She's throwing sweatpants at me. So I put on sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and I put my hair in a bun, and I gave my whole, 20-30 minute talk. And I mean, I didn't talk about my business. I took my filters off, and I was terrified. And it was over, and I was like, sweet, we're all done. Let's go drink wine now. And, but what I noticed was, so that was a Saturday. What I noticed is that Sunday, a lot of the women, instead of coming dressed up like they had on Saturday, they came in their stretchy pants and their sweatpants or their pajamas. And so I kind of thought, okay, people, they really relate to that authentic piece. And so, one of the things that people don't know about me is, they see what's on Facebook, and I'm authentic, but they don't always know. I think they think that life is easy for me, that it just comes easier, or that I don't struggle with the same things that other people do. So when Jolene asked me, about the topic for this, that was kind of what I wanted. I thought, let's be raw, and let's talk about it. Life is not, my relationship is not perfect. Being a bonus mom is the hardest job in the world, right? Our new house has water damage, I mean, life, life is not always easy. And so my hope for this was that I'd be able to show some women that I am a human, and real human things happen. And especially when you're, going through the world of being an entrepreneur, because it looks different every day. And then you have these scary moments, where you can't run your business like you used to, and you have to pivot and figure that out. So yeah, so I'm just kind of here to answer any of those questions, or just, be real that life is not easy for everybody, no matter how it looks. So
yeah, well, you and I are both girly girls. We love to dress up and look fancy at times, but then behind the scenes on the day-to-day job of what we do, being working from home, that we can look like we're, homeless almost. Just like, wow.
Right. That's most days. Yeah. My mom came in the door today. She's babysitting my dog, so I can do this. And she looked at me, because I don't think she's seen me, not in sweatpants with combed hair and who knows how long. So yeah, I have an appointment later, and I've gotten so used to doing them online, but they want me to come to their office. And I was like, oh, I have to go there.
Hey, you're all dressed up and ready to go.
I know. It's the only perk, but it was knocked me off guard for a minute. I was like, oh, people still do that. Okay.
I know. Yesterday, yeah. I went to Coeur d'Alene, or no, 2 days ago. I went to Coeur d'Alene, and there's shops are open, and I'm like, oh my gosh, retail therapy, woohoo! So yeah. I went into the Velvet Hammer and bought some new clothes, and
Mhm.
Wore them yesterday and felt like $1,000,000. I loved it.
I love her store.
Yes. So
Yeah, I've been in there a few times. It's a great little boutique. I like her store.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we went to Coeur d'Alene too, and it was just weird seeing people out. And I went to the at-home store and bought a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's kind of like you want to feel like a human again, so go to Idaho.
Mhm.
There's something to do there.
Yeah.
But luckily we're opening back up here in Spokane at least, and that's been feeling pretty good too. My daughters told me the mall was open, and I'm like, wow, all right.
I got that email too. That's exciting.
You got an email from the mall?
I have a problem.
I love it.
The mall emailed me and said, we're open, come bring your money back.
Oh. So tell me a little bit about what inspires you to get up every day and do the work that you do.
I think most days I'm in competition with myself to do better than the day before. Um, but it's interesting because during the COVID and staying home, I was fortunate that my business didn't see any kind of severe impact. But the first couple weeks I was on Zoom after Zoom with clients or even people who weren't clients, just trying to help them. I went way outside my job description, just helping them figure out, hey, how do we pivot? What does this look like? How can you make money while you're closed? And it reminded me why I do what I do, because I think sometimes you just get in the routine and it's, I have to make money so I can pay rent. And I think you forget why you're doing what you're doing. But this was a big thing for me because I really enjoyed and liked being able to help those other business owners. And so it was great, and it reminded me, oh, this is why I do what I do, because I wanna help our business economy be successful and have other business owners be successful and support them. And so, if you're gonna find silver lining in something, I think it was good because it kind of renewed my inspiration and reminded me why I do it, and of course, I'm not good at working for other people. I've learned that at a younger age. So a lot of my inspiration is just being able to design my own life and, take trips when I want to and make sure I don't miss the girls, basketball games or things like that. And so that's a big inspiration for me is just knowing that I can have that quality of life. And, if I wake up one day and I want to go to the beach instead of my desk, then I do. And so that's a good question.
What advice would you have for people right now who are business owners to thrive in this time versus just kind of survive or even crawl into because it's tough for people to really make it in this new world that we're living in, and who knows what the fall will bring and winter and all that. So what advice are you giving some people right now on that?
Yeah, so what I've seen some people do is they almost just think, okay, I'm gonna protect my bank and I'm gonna do nothing, right? I'm gonna ride this out. From a marketing standpoint, it's important to keep feeding your pipeline, right? You can't just shut your doors one day and then wake up 3 months later and think, okay, now I'll go get business. So I've been giving lots of business owners, like, this is the time, I'm making the Allison manual, I'm fine tuning things. Like, this is the time to really work on those things you haven't always had time, and to keep yourself present and active on social so that you're constantly feeding that pipeline and communicating with your existing customers. This is what my business looks like. This is what we're offering. These are our hours. Yes, we're open. No, we're closed. So all that's really important. And so just making sure that you're staying present, and on the flip side, what I've learned and something I've even had a hard time with is, I'm used to working at home, not quite this much, but a lot of people aren't. And so for them, it's, it's easy to lose your motivation probably and think, oh, I don't have to do that today, or, so finding ways to keep yourself motivated. And for me, that's a routine. I have the same routine every morning. I wake up and we have breakfast and there's a lot of coffee being drank, and, I go for a walk with the dog and I come back and it's just having those routines, because because all of a sudden your routine went away. And so you have to kind of create new ones. And I think that'll help you stay more active in your business, is if you're, keep treating it like a business day.
That's great advice. I would echo that same thing, is waking up at the same time, having your routine, and then finding ways to get in front of people every day, offering a lot more value during this time rather than asking people to spend money, but just giving the free content and helping people get motivated and moving, and just getting them going in the right direction. So totally agree with you on that. So is there anything else that you want to touch on? We usually get to this point in the interview, and I want to give it back to you to say kind of some. Satisfied with what I've got. Watch.
She's talking to you.
She goes, I'm pretty satisfied with what I've got. I don't know how that happened.
She's listening.
Our devices are always listening. That's scary. Okay, Suri, be quiet. So Allison, is there anything else that you would like to talk about, or last thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I just, anybody that's listening who wants to get involved with the Girl Gang, we'd love to have you join our Facebook group and just be a part of our gang. And that way you can stay up to date on different events. We're hoping to have, last year we did our first annual event for girls 10 to 18 and then adult women. And the Girl Gang was able to sponsor 12 girls from Daybreak. So they got to come to the event that day, and we had, oh my gosh, I think we had 8 or 9 awesome speakers that day. And we did some very interactive stuff. We did like a team building exercise where we made dream makers, and we had one of the gals did a cool thing with marshmallows. One gal, she danced around like Ellen. It was so fun. Like, it was just a fun day, and we had almost 100 people there for our first event. So pending everything, we're hoping that late August, early September, we'll be doing it again. I already have a few dates booked on the calendar. It's just going to depend on whether or not we're allowed to have gatherings like that by then. So be on the lookout for that. It was fun because we had a good split between adult women and then girls 10 to 18. So it was just a really fun day. So we have that coming up. With One Stop Media, right before all this happened, I was doing boot camps, social boot camps. And so eventually I will have a boot camp, and I will probably really hone in on some of the stuff we touched on today, how to stay active in your social, and kind of how to refine your marketing message. And maybe even what I've done with a lot of my clients is put together almost like a pandemic plan, right? But a lot of people, if your house is on fire, you have a plan to get out of your house. But what happens if your business is on fire? Do you have a marketing plan for that? And so I think we're going to do a really fun workshop to just bring in a few other experts in that area, but to help people plan for the future. So if something like this ever happens again, they have this plan, like, okay, this is what we do, so so those are some fun things that we have kind of coming up. We just can't really give time frames right now. So
right.
Yeah.
So is this Allison manual going to be a book eventually?
Oh gosh, no. It's because I'll show you actually. I bought this fun thing like 2 years ago because I liked it, and I never knew what it was going to be.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's been sitting on my desk, and I've been staring at it, and I thought, okay, I was having breakfast with Ryan one day, and we were talking about wills and stuff because I've been helping my dad do that, and he asked if I had one, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't have one for my business. And so Ryan looked at me like a deer, caught in the headlights, because he was like, well, I won't know what to do. Like I won't even know how to turn the computer on. And so that was kind of like, I was like, that's a really good idea. And
that's so smart.
Yeah, so that's what and so my mom, she comes and I talk and she types, and I mean, who knows how long this thing could be, but it's essentially just, if something happened to me here, so they can keep, do what I do every day. So
yeah. Well, shout out to Nancy, your mom. She's amazing.
Right. Who's also walking the dog right now, so.
So he's not barking in the background at you.
Correct. Yeah, he was mad that he didn't get to be on the show. And if you follow my Facebook stories, you've met Jackson. He's everywhere.
Oh yes, please follow Allison on Facebook. Oh my gosh. So just Allison Sattin. And what about your Instagram? What is the handle there?
I think it's Allison Rose Sattin. Yeah,
okay.
On Instagram, so you can find me there.
Do you have a One Stop Media account?
Yeah, so I have them all. So
you can of course you do.
Yeah, you can follow Girl Gang and One Stop Media on Facebook. You can follow me. Girl Gang has an Instagram, so does One Stop Media. Yeah, they're all there.
I'll put the links in the YouTube and podcast sites. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, there's way too many to rattle off. Nobody would remember them.
No. Gosh. Oh, well, thank you so much for being here today and really sharing your life and the vulnerabilities that you have. And
it was fun. Yeah, well, it was just kind of like a regular coffee date with you. So
I know. I love it. I love you. And thank you so much for all you've done for me over the years and just keeping this community of women, just entrepreneurial women, but also women that have a story to tell, just kind of in touch with each other in a way that is really authentic and such a cool environment. So to help each other and to give back. I love it.
Thank you for thinking of me. I've seen the women on your show and they're quite the lineup. So
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But I will be putting the links to all of her websites and Facebook and Instagram. There'll be a lot of them.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Colleen.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.